Hello, my friends. Okay, what I have to talk about today is of interest, of bilingual interest. Okay, two good things happened during this week. I received my copy of my good friend, my brother, David Peterson, who was uh, Emita, Emita's and myself. He was a co-worker with me from 1967 to I think 1969. I think I don't quite remember the the dates, but he was at our wedding. He worked with me. Well, I was his boss at the psychological testing center I worked at, or the psychological testing office I worked at during my first 2 years here in Panama, right before the dictatorship came in and they threw me out. And thanks to him, I went to work with the Peace Corps in Puerto Rico when I was kicked out of Panama. So, and we've kept on being friends ever since. And uh, I've been to visit him in in Philadelphia, and he's been over to Panama several times. And there's a funny anecdote. Uh, we were so tight knit, the group, that we had uh, because he became friends of all my friends and my colleagues at work, and friends of my family. And I remember that when Akim, my oldest boy, was born, uh, Akim was very blonde, very blonde. But my mom, they said that when she was young, she was blonde, very white, and very blonde. So those genes from that side came up with Akim, and Akim had to remain at the hospital for about a week. He was born on December 22nd, 1969. Yeah, and he was kept at the hospital till December 31st, and I had to catch a flight at midnight to go back to the training camp where I worked in Puerto Rico with the Peace Corps. Well, anyway, uh, I went to the hospital with a friend. She took us, and Amita was at home. She had a C-section, so she had to lay lay keep her lay low, which she was rarely capable of doing because she was like a spitfire. Well, anyway, when I brought the baby home and she saw the baby, she said, "Look, he looks just like David." Of course, my mother and my mother-in-law, they almost fainted. But having this blonde kid there, it was really unexpected. But you know, the love that we had for David was so big that it just came out of her heart. It looks just like David. When Akim grew up, we told him that story, uh, before one of David's return visits to Panama, and that has been a joke in the family. Akim is no longer blonde, but it'll give you I think that this little anecdote gives you a good impression of how tight the feelings we had with David, or we have. Well, no, we had because Amita isn't physically with us right now, but we love him very much. So uh, his mother, he comes from a very well educated family, college graduates and all that. And his mother, at quite an advanced age, she died at 101 years old. She wrote her memoirs. I don't understand, I don't recall if they were published or if it was just for the family, I don't remember. But he does mention in his book that after she wrote the memoirs, he decided that he wanted to write perhaps something a bit from a different angle, and it was going to be an autobiography. And he mentioned it some years ago. I thought it was a very good idea. It's very difficult to write in first person, and I'm I'm going to share something with you. Usually, I don't like to read autobiographies unless I know about the person. But in general, I have found that many of the authors who write an autobiography will either go to the extreme of portraying themselves as the victims of something, or will go to the other end and they portray themselves as superheroes. And it's okay. It's a person must have a subject goal and that, but that's not the case with David's autobiography. Uh, his book is perfect, not even one typo, and that's very, 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 very rare. So either he had it very well edited, or went through the process of getting a beta reader or something, but it's just perfect. It has some photos also, dealing with photos that help us sort of get to know who he's talking about. He's traveled about everywhere in the world, but hasn't dwindled on the places that he's traveled. It's sort of a geographical, emotional description of the places, and he does describe quite well his feelings towards the people that he met throughout his life, and the descriptions are so pleasant, so good. Some of the information I knew beforehand, because some of it we had shared, and some other of the information I had heard him talk about, and so I knew some of the information that I was going to read, but I was really unexpectedly shocked when I read and saw that there were a couple of pictures of him and I at our job over at Ifaru, and another picture of him with Amita and myself, plus you know, the words that he used and were really touching, very, very touching. I have to admit that I ended up in tears with the book. Uh, his husband, who Amita and I met, they came to Panama a few months before Amita became ill. Uh, but we really, really liked him. Amita just took to him right away. He couldn't speak Spanish, and she had forgotten her English, but somehow they communicated. And Bud and Amita were very much alike. They were hyperactive. It was so much fun just watching them. But they got along very well. So this was, it was they got married afterwards, and well, I sure hope that we shall be able to see each other again. I rather doubt it, because things are very, very different now. I can't travel alone. Like Vadim has already said, forget it. If you ever travel again, it's going to be with me. You can't travel alone anymore. Well, okay. So, but having reading his book, which is what was, I should say, quite quite an experience, because I had to use a huge magnifying glass. It's almost a table, and you put the book under it, the pages under it, and then you have this magnifying thing on top, sort of a table, like a table, and where it makes the letters 3 times bigger. And the book was so much fun that I went through it in one day. So, and now when I finished reading this book, and I wanted to put it in a special shelf that I have, I remembered that I had another book written by someone I love very much, and that belongs to all the memories of my years in college. And it's this one, Don. Seeing with the Burdened Left Eye. This is a book of poems. I should say that I have never been very good at either writing poems, neither in English nor in Spanish. Emita was a very good poem writer, and she would have me, sort of look over the whatever she had written, and I would say, oh, really great. And many times I didn't quite interpret well what she was saying. But Don's book of poems, is really, really endearing. I read it all when I received it many years ago, and it right now at this moment, I think it's interesting that I'm having problems with my my right eye, she has problems with her left eye, and it gives us something in common. Uh, Her father, Randy, Rev, I used to call him, uh, also wrote a book. I have to look for it. And uh, Rowena, her mother, wrote, also had her memoirs that I wrote. And well, the great thing about writing is that whatever you write becomes permanent. It won't ever go away. So it's really a treasure for me to have these books. Okay, that's what I wanted to tell you guys today. The everything else is coming along. It's starting to rain over here, even though it's a dry season. It's quite humid, and the vaccination process has already begun. I think that my group, my age group, will be vaccinated by May at the latest. And once everyone becomes vaccinated, well, things should be easier for all. Okay, see you then. Bye bye.